So as much as I don't like what's going on in Canada right now, I can't keep talking about the same fucking thing. I can't keep talking about the protests. I'm at work right now, so I'm trying to make an intro video. Stuff I'm going to talk about. I'm just going to let the spirits flow through me. It is Mercury Day after all. Probably one of the best days for me to make videos when I get the most ideas. So, because clearly I got the idea to make a video. So, you know. Anyways, the point I'm trying to say is I'm going to wait till the thought comes to me now. This can be super vague and be like, yeah, it's going to be a video about Magick. And just fucking leave it at that. But, time to go back to work, so I'll figure this out. Right. Fuck, my window's all kinds of fucked up. I need to get some water, some snow in this motherfucker. I can hardly see. I can hardly see this shit. Yeah, it's getting terrible. Anyways, what's going on, everybody? Finished work early, freezing rain, snow. Makes it hard to do roofing whenever there's freezing rain and snow going on. And everything froze. We had freezing rain last night, so everything was frozen when we first started. And then it's one thing to start in freezing rain, you know, you take an hour to chip everything off, get all the ice off so you can start working. But then if it's doing it while you're working, it makes it very hard to continue. So, obviously we had to shut it down. We got a lot done. There's literally only one little piece of this house that has to be done now. And then she's done, and we were going to try to do it, but it's just too flippin' dangerous. Even tied off on a fucking rope, it was just too much. And we tried, so. This is what I like about this company, you know? They will try, and then if it's not safe, it's not safe. It's not like, do it no matter what else, or just bitch out from the get-go. Like, the last company I was at was like, no, minus 20 is too fucking much, fuck it, we're not working. Or it was, and before that, it was like, nope, do it. I don't care how fucking dangerous it is. If you're not gonna do it, I'll find someone else who will fucking do it, you know? I don't like those extremes. I like the middle ground, where it's like, okay, let's see what we can do. Spend some time seeing if we can do it, and if not, well, then let's fucking, you know, call it a day. And, you know, to me, that's the perfect balance for the field that I'm in, which is construction, you know, building houses, basically. Right now, I'm specializing just in roofing, tin, flats, and obviously shingles. I do all fucking three at the very moment, because I follow the money, you know? These people are willing to pay me more than what I was getting in my last job, and no disrespect to my last boss and my last job, I loved it there, it was awesome, but lots of drama on top of it. So on top of your daily work and, you know, everything else going on, there was drama between my boss and his life is complicated, which, you know, everybody's is, but, you know, if you're going to run a business, you got to kind of separate that, and he didn't really separate it, you know, and that's fine, you know, I don't mind being your friend, but then I had a couple of checks got bounced in my bank account. That pissed me off. And it's one thing for me to go there, work all day, get in shit, in trouble from you, and, you know, I didn't do something right, you're mad, okay, I take that shit, I go fix it, spend extra time, whatever. But then I don't get paid for that. It's like, well, what the fuck? There's no front here. You don't do that shit. You don't get to fucking yell at me even though you can't fucking pay me. And it took them like 4 days to fix the problem. So, no hard feelings. I still love the guy, and I'd probably go back in a heartbeat. I mean, if the money was right, but I'm getting more money where I am now, and like I just said, it's the right balance, so that's why I went. And that's kind of what I've been talking about in my last few videos, you know? I used to do money magic, and you can look on my channel, and all the time that I was off, whenever I was off on unemployment for different reasons, and I got laid off for syrup and curb, you see me on there slanging money spells, okay? I did all these different candles just to see if I can win on bingo tickets. I actually put the proof on my fucking channel. If you're ever curious if I'm full of shit or not, if you go look at, I forget the playlist, but I have a playlist in there where I show you a bingo ticket before I even scratch it. I show you the barcode number so you know it's the same. And then I said, I do a candle, do the candle, and then I scratch it and I win. You know? And it's like, and I've done this many times. The first time I just said I did a money candle and I won, and I showed you the ticket that I won and how much I won. So then I'm like, well, okay, that's not really proof, right? Because anybody can just talk out their ass. Then I actually did the fucking candle and showed you the barcode before it was scratched, and then showed you after it was scratched. And show you that, you know, if you can actually get your mind off of your spell and my method. The method that I've used is my method. I'm not going to say that this is magic. I'm going to say that I've used the concepts that I've learned from magic. What is that? Okay, well, that's probably what we'll talk about today. The concepts of magic, the bare bones of how to use your subconscious mind and the ways to implant suggestions into your subconscious mind. When you get those concepts down, then you can start utilizing and creating your own methods to making magic work for you. Now, you will have a period of time to have to drill this shit in your subconscious, that this is your method and then this is how I want to manifest things. But once you start it, if you continue doing it for your entire fucking life, what I'm going to tell you is, like, you know, no matter what happens, okay, unless you're about to die tomorrow, unless you're going to die in 10 years or 5 years, if you're going to do the same thing, because I don't plan on changing my candle magic. My candle magic, if I really need something fast, I'll put sigils on my candles. I'll make my own sigil on a paper. I'll focus on it, and I'll do all the things that most people do when they go to do magic, sigil magic, all these magics. Why? Because there's more energy, there's more people that believe this shit works, so it actually works faster, okay? But I've been, for the last 5 years, I've been honing my own type of magic because it works for me, because I like writing. I'm a big writer. I like writing a lot. Sleep journal to my regular journal to a manifestation book, meaning like I try to write out how my life's going to happen in the next. I try not to do too many years ahead. I try to do like 6 months at a time, and it's called my manifestation book. And I've cleansed, consecrated, and charged this book to be my manifestation book, which is also following those rules of magic that I've learned and the different things you're supposed to do. Like the way magic works, there's a procedure, how, and it comes down to, because magic and psychology and what's it called, neurology, how the brain works, and the older systems in the brain, like your 5 senses are attached to your neocortex, right? But then you got the limbic system underneath that, which is older than neocortex. And then you got the reptilian brain, which is the oldest one, okay? So, and that's where you got to affect. First you got to affect the limbic, and then the limbic has to put an impression on the fucking reptilian brain. And once you do that process, then you're golden. So, this is what I've learned. This is what I've learned from all the study, all the research, everything I've done. And so what I use is basically, I know affirmations can work. I know affirmations can work. I've known it for a while. I know symbols are more powerful than affirmations. That's why sigil magic works 20 times faster than affirmations. Maybe even 50 times faster, okay? I know that. But I like writing, and sometimes it's a long fucking time. For me, I had it in my mind, and I've said it on my channel. If you look at my earliest episodes on my podcast or on YouTube, you'll hear me say that if you seriously believe, like a placebo effect, okay, this pill is gonna fucking make you better. Sugar pills that are pretending to be Tylenol, you have a headache, you take one, you think it's Tylenol, it's gonna work, right? If you can trick your fucking mind that way, then you can win. Well, I've had many episodes where, because I like mock chicken, I'm not gonna lie, and even I stopped eating meat for like 3 fucking years. But, you know, I won't even get into that right now. I'll make a whole episode about that. But if you can trick yourself to every time I eat a mock chicken sandwich, I get like $100 or $1,000. I forget the example I used. I know mock chicken was part of it, but I don't remember the latter or the former. But point is, I'm a firm believer that if you do something enough times, it becomes what it becomes. Like, meaning, if I'm doing a candle and I just write my spell on my candle and I know that's gonna work, then it's gonna work. And here's not the problem. Here's the kicker, I guess, is I've been doing that for a while. I stopped putting sigils on my candles probably about a year into when I started studying magic, okay? Probably about a year into it. I started just straight up writing my thing on there. Because I watched it. It's like, okay, you want to make a petition short and sweet. You put it underneath the candle, and then you let the candle burn down, and then you get rid of the petition, right? And to me, you say, okay, well, why wouldn't you just turn that petition into a fucking sigil, charge it, Also put it under there, and then you burn, because you gotta burn the petition after anyways. You gotta get rid of that fucking thing, because that's your representation in this realm of the thing you want. So until that thing's gone, you won't get it. That's how manifestation works. So to me, it's like, if I put on the candle, as the candle burns down, if I write it on the candle, as the candle burns down, it's getting rid of it at the same time, but it's already on there. I put the energy in there. I'm carving my intention into this candle. I have my whole statement of intent, my petition. I am so grateful that the Prime Minister of Canada is no longer harming peaceful, innocent protesters in the capital city of Ottawa. I will be harm-free, so mote it be. I put that on a candle. I let the bitch burn down. That flame is fire, right? There's air going into that fire, or else that fire couldn't exist. Okay? The wax turns into liquid, so that's the water element. And then, but the wax is hard. It's also earthly. It's the material realm. So you got all four things going into this, and it's burning down my petition from the start to the end. So they go from the top to the bottom. So the top of the candle, this is what I generally do. I'll give you my whole fucking method. Why is this fucking important story? I've dropped this phone like 4 fucking times off of fucking roofs that are like 3 stories high. So forgive me if my my picture isn't well. But seriously, so the top of the candle, around the wick, what I normally do, depending on the plan of the day that I'm trying to do. And that's how I do my thing. Straight up, right from the beginning, this is how I do my magic. So I'll just put it all out there. Fuck making a program. Fuck trying to make money off it. Fuck all that shit. We have problems in Canada right now. I need people to use their manifestation power for good, for at least their own life, and if they want to try to affect things going on in Ottawa. Because I'm not happy about Canadians being brutalized right now. But I'm not going to talk about that. So the top of the candle, and I mean, it could be anything from one of the big long fucking candles, because I use those forever, because in my hometown, for a while, I was only able to go to the store called Michael's, which is an arts and crafts stores, and they had 15 packs of just your regular skinny ass long candles that were black. So all my black candles came from there. Now you can get some at the dollar store. They're scented, and I'm not big on using scented, but I will, depending on budget issues and what's going on. Walmart is now selling black candles that are sandalwood, they say. Same, once again, but you can use that to your benefit. But anyway, so any candle. But generally, I try to use smaller, thicker ones. My candles are normally this fucking big. So let's say 2 inches by 1 inch in diameter, maybe 1.5 inch diameter. So the top, around the top. And I don't need to use a big motherfucker. Fuck that. Why? It takes longer for manifestation, man. The faster that bitch burns, fuck. I burn one every day. I burn a fucking candle every day. And generally what happens is I'll start my candle at 9 or 10 o'clock at night. 3 a.m. I'll wake up, focus on it, put my intention to it if I have to. Not always, right? If I sleep through that, I sleep through that. But generally, since I started my spiritual journey, but I've been waking up at 3 a.m. nonstop. And you would say that's a curse, but it's not. I mean, that's a sign of a curse if you're waking up at 3 a.m., but it's like nightmares and terrors and you're running to reach the light. It's like, no. For me, it's just a witching hour, and I'm a witch, and it's like, fuck that. I'm going to put my energy into this candle when I wake up. Anyways, so I use a smaller candle, and at the top of the fucking candle, first thing I do is, okay, so today is Mercury Day. Okay, what's all the names for Mercury? Is there different symbols for Mercury? The first symbol I'm going to put on there is the most known one right now for Mercury, which is the combination of, you got the moon symbol on the top of his head, you know, the horns, right? And then you got the circle, and it's Venus, right? And Mercury is supposed to be the combination of both Venus and Mars. And you know, you can see it, right? Got the circle with that thing. Well, if you return that moon around, it almost looks like an arrowhead, and you could take the circle and then the line and make fucking Mars out of it. So it's supposed to be a combination of both, because Mercury is hermaphroditic, Hermes, all right? He's neutral, he's between the pillars. He's the messenger of the fucking gods, for God's sake. That's why the book of Enoch is one of those dudes who is a Mercury kind of figure, because he was a messenger for the gods. Most prophets kind of play that mercurial role, right? People that have lots of Mercury in their astrology chart, depending on where it is in their chart. If it's in, you know, anyways, favorable places where you can communicate to gods. You'll have that ability, but you know, I'll turn into a fucking angel. Okay, you know, anyways, doesn't matter. All that shit's, it's a moot point. Point is, today's Mercury Day. So what I would do is I'd put the symbol of Mercury, maybe even, so your candle wick, right? Sometimes there's like a center that kind of dips down, right? And that's to make sure the wax starts dipping down so the flame can slowly keep burning and not get put out by its own wax, right? So it's already kind of a circle there. So if it was Mercury Day, I would trace out that circle. I would put the moon on top of that circle, and then I put the line down. Boom, dead center, Mercury. Then I put Mercury, Loki, Hermes, what is it? Bubu, Nunu. I forget the Mesopotamian name for Mercury at the moment. It escapes me. And then all the names he's had in the past, I would put on there. I would literally put on there. I would put them all on the top of that candle. And then if I still had room after that, depending on what I was doing, if I wanted to do healing today for somebody, because last Wednesday my daughter wasn't feeling well. She was very pale. So I had room on the top of my candle. First thing I did is I invoked Arcane. After putting all Mercury stuff on there, top half, bottom half, I made the sigil for Archangel. And you know, it's up to you. I don't know how you are for writing, but I can make things very small to look good. I have, let's say, an entry level of artistic ability. So I can look at a picture and I can make that picture the same if I was to draw it. Okay, I'm very good at that. But to draw things out of nowhere and be inspired and just draw, that's not me. But I've practiced enough drawing that I can draw shit. So I'm good with scale, I'm good with different things. So to take Archangel Raphael, his sigil, which is big enough, but to make that very tiny, I can make it right fucking now. You know, I can put that on the candle and then I write Archangel Raphael. And then around the candle, at the bottom of the candle, from the top going down, I would write my petition. And at the very bottom of the candle, I save for the I will be harm-free, so mote it be. Now sometimes I don't put harm-free depending on what's going on and what I'm trying to do. I'm not saying I'm trying to curse people, but sometimes if you want shit to happen faster, if you leave it the harm-free, it works. And then I have a special sigil I made for my magical name, and it literally incorporates every planet's sigil in it. But it was all the letters from my magical name. But I made it so that I can make my magical name out of all the symbols of the planets. It's pretty amazing. I'd love to show you, but I can't. I can never show anybody that. So if they have that, then they don't need to know my magical name, but they have my magical name, and then I can be cursed to fucking shit. But it literally has every fucking planet in there, including Gaia, including Neptune, Pluto, and all those. And it's all made out of the letters of my magical name. So it's like a signature. So for some reason, because I believe in always signing your petitions, your candles, any magic you do, you sign your name, you sign your magical name. But then I also have that. Worst case, I can't fucking put my magical name on there or someone's gonna see it. I would put that and be like, what's that? It's a sigil. Just focus on it. You know what I mean? That's what I would do. Anyways, but that's how I do candles. And I've been doing this for so long, that's how it works. And I think it was 3 years ago. Okay. So like the first year, maybe nothing happened, let's say. And then about a year and a half into it is when I started seeing things, small things happening. We were getting money. I was laid off. I wasn't working. My wife hadn't got the promotion she's got. We had more money than we could shake a fucking stick at. It was crazy. And that's all I was doing. Every Thursday and Friday I was doing money spells. Every Saturday I was banishing that. Every Sunday I was trying to get popularity to my podcasts. And so that, I was continue to get money even if I didn't make my podcast. On the moon days, I kept special to the moon, especially when there was a full moon coming. And then on Tuesdays, Mars, I was working on my fire because I know I'm not as outgoing as I should be, and I'm a little anxiety kind of person who doesn't like being around big crowds, so I'd kind of work on that. And with Mercury, I'd always focus on giving me more, being the messenger from the gods, today being Mercury Day on top of it. I hope today's fucking Wednesday. You never know with me. But I always focus on getting more information. I am so grateful that my conscious mind is getting so much information from the subconscious, from the collective unconscious, from all the occult ancestors who knew what the fuck was going on, and I'm getting all information that will help other people to help them evolve spiritually in the right direction, including my fucking self. Stuff like that I do every Mercury day. Unless I need healing, then I invoke Archangel Michael. And, you know, like I said, I start seeing little results from all these little things. Oh, that's weird. And then just fucking idea after idea for Mercury day. Mars day, you would see me and my wife fucking fight. Even on Sundays, me and my wife would fight. You know, and that would just, anyways, I'm not gonna get into that. But things I would banish from Saturn would work. And then Fridays and Thursdays, like I got videos about me doing a candle in the morning. We have no money in the bank. She was supposed to get paid, change the bank account, no money. Same with me, no money. I do a candle for myself, I get it within an hour. For her, it takes 2 fucking weeks. Same day, both supposed to get paid, same bank. It takes her 2 weeks. I did a candle that morning, I got mine. So this was like at the 2-year mark where it's like, oh man, my shit's working. It's fucking working. And as soon as that started happening, it was like, man, this is profound. So my own magic was working for a while. Then I started Brian Frater, Xavier's programs, and realizing that there's a lot of old techniques that you can use, and they all fucking work because people put so much goddamn emotion, power, energy, and believe that those things work, that there's so many people that are living now that believe it, and people that aren't living anymore. Their consciousness is still here. It's still in those things. So it's still powerful. So using older magics and older techniques works fucking great because of all the people that believe in it. The only thing that's stopping you from doing those techniques is yourself. Meaning, if you really think this is gonna work, but then you can't get your fucking mind off of it, or all the different laws of magic. There's 4 important ones, but there's many more that come into effect. But like, you know, you gotta set it and forget it. You gotta put enough energy into it when you do it. You gotta use specific methods for it to work. You know, affirmation is the longest route, let's say. And there's sigil magic. But sigil magic is not just making a symbol and leaving it there. No, you gotta fucking put energy into it, charge it, see that bitch light up, see what's going on, happening, and then you gotta forget it, get rid of that fucking sigil. Burn that fucking thing. Do whatever you gotta do with it. Depending on what you're doing, sometimes it's important to put sigils up in the house. Because if it's a mentality you want in your house, well, that's different. But still, at a certain point, you gotta get everybody to see it in your house. And then when you think it's been long enough, then you burn that cocksucker. But just getting that idea in their head's gonna help. Anyways, because you created, when it comes to sigil magic, if you put a sigil on the wall, okay? Let's talk about that for 1 second. If you put a sigil on the fucking wall, that you want your house to be a happy house. You want your kids to do the bare minimum of chores, like cleaning their room, and then potentially doing a couple chores a week, let's say. That's what you want. You put that on the wall. All your kids see it, okay? So for it to happen in your reality, technically, if you have that sigil still there, if you charge it, if you do everything to it, if you charge it, you do everything to it, then you have to burn it for yourself. But if you don't charge it, okay, if you just create the sigil, and then you put it on the wall, and then their minds see it. They walk by and they see it. They don't know what it means, but it still means something. It still means something, right? So, but if that's not already happening in your house, if your kids aren't already doing the bare minimum of chores, if they're not already doing cleaning their room, or whatever the case is, then it's already absent from their life, and they didn't create the sigil. So technically, that sigil is still in the reality, so it may have to be burned to be removed from the reality. But what I would say is you leave it there without charging it or doing anything. Just let everybody's minds see it, put it in there, okay? So that every time they walk by it, they see it, and they don't notice it, but it gets put in that subconscious. Because the more they don't notice it, but it's there, the more it's being seen by the right part of the mind. Then after whatever you deem is an appropriate length of time, okay, whether it's a week, whether it's 2 weeks, whatever it's a month, okay, the longer, the better they see it, but the longer you have to wait for your results. The sooner, the easier. So if you're going to only leave it up for 2 days, then you really need to put a lot of energy into it. You need to take that thing down. You need to focus on that sigil, and you need it until it blurs and you can't see it anymore. And then I would say even at that point, you start in that blurriness, you start seeing your kids doing what you want them to do. Okay, that's what I would do. And then put it down, and then look into the candle flame that you have. Carve that on a fucking candle. This is what I would do if you're only having it up for 2 days. After you did that with the sigil, you put it down. And then you look at a candle. And you carve into the candle that sigil. And maybe even carve the statement of intent on the sigil if you still have room on it. Why the fuck not? Okay? And then, because, you know, why not? And then, as that's burning down, you stare into that flame with the candle, with the sigil on it, and the statement of intent on the back, or wherever around it. And then you have that candle on top of the fucking, on top of your sigil and your statement of intent. Who knows? Burn everything. Burn everything. Anyways, and then, you know, you stare into that flame. And then you do the same fucking thing. You can do the same thing with fucking water if you want. Stare into water and visualize what you want to happen. With one word in your house, gratefulness or something like that for your kids or something, whatever you want. Water magic is easy with simple words, but you can use water to fucking visualize things because, once again, it's an element. Air is a little harder to do that with, but that's why you can breathe and get into a meditative state, and then you can get to that blissful state. And if you can start gaining control over that, then you can simply visualize in your mind what's happening. Once you forget about it, it will happen. That's using the air element as far as I'm concerned. That's a little more spiritual, but still, same thing. But anyways, point is, if you're only gonna leave that sigil up for 2 days to affect your children, that's what you would do. You need to charge the fuck out of that because you're the main person in there. And the kids only saw it for 2 days. Let's say they walk around it 5 times a day. You have 2 kids. They walk about 5 times a day. 5 times a day to give it energy. Your wife maybe 10 times a day to give it energy. You gave it energy you didn't know, but then you're looking at it now and you gotta actually give it the real energy. You gotta charge it. You're gonna make it fucking light the fuck up. And then you're gonna look into that flame. And then you're gonna burn the fucking bitch. And let it go. Okay? Now, the Freighter's got his own sigil magic. How he does it, I would say look into it. This is not stuff I've got from him. This is what I do with sigil magic. He's got his own techniques, hiding sigils, and breaking them back out and recharging them when you don't. Oh, I can't say that. Anyways, sorry. But anyways, so check out his stuff. Get what he says. Do what he says if you want. But sigil magic's simple. But the other option is leaving it up there for a while. So instead of having to do that after 2 days and potentially your first time we're having to wait 3 moons, which is almost 3 months, okay? In case, you know, because that's the same thing. If you leave it up for a month, then their energy is put into it. And then maybe you don't have to do overkill. But after 1 month, if all their energy is into it, then you put your energy into it, it's probably going to happen faster. So it's up to you. You can use their energy or your energy. But the point is, the more people walk by it and don't see it, it's getting lodged in there. That idea is getting lodged in there. And I've seen this happen firsthand. I put things up on my wall, sigils, because my son, the one summer when me and my wife were having the biggest problems, before I found out she was talking to another man. It was like literally days before I found out she was talking to another man. My oldest, Austin, he's my stepson. He came up to me saying he wanted to leave, he wanted to move in with his dad. I had a good conversation with him saying, I can't make that call. That's up to you. That's between you and your fucking mom. You have to talk to her. I'll put a word for you. It was the summertime. And I knew how it was going to play out. I knew that Noel would only take him for a fucking month, if that, and then he would be sending him back home. And then all that idea would be out of his head. He's no longer with it. But there was no way my wife was having that. She freaked the fuck out and blah, 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 blah. A couple days later, I found out she was talking to another man. We were having all these problems. Shit was bad, okay? Well, around that time, I was making candles for me and my wife, for that fucking asshole talking to my wife, cursing his ass. And I was fucking making candles for Austin to be nicer to his mom, to be more respectful, to not be in such a dark place. I don't think it was so bad here, and to do things. And I want to say for about 3 months, and it only took about 2 weeks. I want to say it was like 2 weeks. He fucking pissed and moaned. He was mad that mom forced him, and because dad wanted to take him, right? And she would have had to legally let him, but because he gave up all his rights whenever they broke up when they were children. He signed everything over to her. He wanted no responsibility. He's got every second weekend and only has to pay $50 a kid in child support every month. Yeah, because he's on disability and all that shit. But I mean, he's doing really good now. So none of that's disrespect. I mean, I'm disrespecting the old Noel, who was a piece of shit to my wife. The new Noel is actually trying hard, I think, and taking his kids when they let him. I mean, they're teenagers. They don't really want to go hang out there. If they have spare time, they want to go do their own thing. But the point is, I made a candle for a bunch of things, and Austin was radically changed. It was beautiful. It was actually really beautiful how it happened. It was more proof of what I was doing worked. And I mean, when I found out Austin had epilepsy, which is about a year before this, I made non-stop candles every fucking Wednesday to Archangel Raphael. These videos are on my channel saying the day I found out that Austin is no longer epileptic. He was epileptic and told he was going to be epileptic his whole life. They didn't know what happened. Sometimes it sparks in puberty and then it lasts their entire life. And it's a scar on the brain and this and that and blah, 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 blah. So I made candles every fucking time, every fucking Wednesday. Sometimes I'd include my other kids, but every Wednesday without a fucking, like, without stop. Every Wednesday, Archangel Raphael to help Austin. And then we go to the doctors. I forget when it was. I have to look at my video. And my wife comes out, well, he's not epileptic anymore. With a big smile on her face. I'm like, what? And this is one of the key moments that helped my wife start thinking that magic may be real. Things I do with my candles. She doesn't understand it, and she doesn't get into it, but she will buy me candles. And when things are tough, she will tell me to go do your thing in the room with your candles. And that's one of the things that helped, because she knew. She said, what are you doing now? Like, I'm making a fucking candle for Austin to heal his epilepsy. She's like, it's not gonna get healed, babe. Like, it's there forever. It's something he's gonna have to deal with. Like, we'll see. And on top of it, Austin didn't believe the doctor and didn't think he was going to be epileptic his whole life. He stopped taking the pills because he didn't believe in them. And I'm not gonna say I encouraged him to do that. That smile is pretty evident. I didn't encourage him to do that, but I was happy that on top of the magic I was doing, he was willing to believe that he wasn't gonna, because I'm doing magic to make him not epileptic, and he believes he's gonna be an epileptic and be fucked his whole life. It doesn't help. So I knew the action of not taking the pills, along with the attitude and the emotion that I'm not gonna be epileptic my whole life, is a fucking combination of magic that I couldn't fucking beat. And on top of the magic I was performing, success. He's no longer epileptic. He hasn't had a grand mal seizure. He hasn't had anything. And he was taking them a lot. He was taking petty seizures in class, meaning they don't flail around on the floor, but they're in and out of consciousness, basically. And they don't know it. He's had a lot of those, where he's in the car, and he's talking to us, and we didn't know what the fuck was going on. We're going to a baseball game, and he's just in a whole other dimension, talking about some crazy shit. The first grand mal seizure I saw him do, he looked like he was seeing a fucking demon or the devil itself. He came up the stairs, he looked on top of the fridge, and his whole face, he went white. He was so fucking, I never saw fear in someone's eyes as pronounced as that day. And then he fell down the stairs, grabbed him, I brought him in his bed. Owen's like, what's going on with Austin? And Owen was so worried, and so beautiful how he took care of his older brother. It was beautiful. He was so worried. Anyways, he took care of him well. He did everything I told him to do. He was so scared. Anyways, after it was done, Austin laid in bed for a while. That was the first really bad one. Like, it was fucking serious. He hated it. He hated it. And he's got a second chance now, and he's starting to get back into his little dick ways. It's not his fault. He's a fucking 16-year-old, you know. He's got testosterone coming out of his ass. Dad problems, you know. Thinks dad doesn't love him and all this other shit. Anyways, and I gotta be a hard ass because of the fact that he's being a dick to everybody. It's like, I'm not raising you this way. I know you got problems, but so does everybody else, man. Like, fuck. You could be an epileptic right now, not allowed to do any sports, all these different restrictions, but you're not. Fuck, man, that's something to be happy about. Not too many people do that. That's on you. Your body can heal itself that fast. Out of everybody in my family, it was only me and him. Yeah, I'm not gonna say this actually. Anyway, so all that's to say is I've had all this tremendous proof that candle magic works. But my candle magic. Now, did I do sigils for Austin? Of course I did. Of course I did. I told you that earlier. With something serious, I would do sigils. Okay? But the majority of what I did for Austin was seriously just putting, well, it's still sigil magic. I put Archangel Raphael's sigil on the candle. okay? That's to invoke him, get him there. Come here, angel, come here. And, you know, I treat these entities, let's say, holy. But I know they were created to serve us. They're not created by God. They're not in some place. It's an idea that you can invoke. It goes back to almost that placebo thing I was talking about. Archangel Michael's for protection. Archangel Raphael is for healing, okay? It's divine doctrine. These things were put in books and created. They're egregores. They're servitors. Well, they're a big-ass servitor. They're an egregore that serves multiple people, but that's what they are. They're not something you can really disrespect. They don't have emotions. They have a job. They have a classification. This is what they do. You call on them by putting that sigil on there, then you write what they want them to do. If you believe what you write is going to fucking work, then it's going to work. If you think a dead language is better, if you think putting everything in sigil is better, then that's what's going to work best for you. But what I'm saying is, by the repetition of me continuously, literally writing on my fucking candle, fuck the paper underneath, fuck the sigil, I'm going to write my statement right under there. I'm going to be thinking about it while I do it, and that's what I do. I don't spend a lot of time, what am I going to do this candle about? No, I grab the fucking candle, I grab an incense, the same incense I'm offering. So, and sometimes I'll put this on there. So if it's really dire and it really needs to be, you know, I'll be like, I offer this candle too, and I'll put Venus, I'll put the symbol, and I'll put all the names on there. You can do that too, and I don't do that anymore, but that's how I used to do it. I'm offering this incense and this candle. And if it's something really, like I really needed, really wanted, rum. Get a fucking little shot of fucking rum, put it in there, drop the fucking candle in there before I fucking carve it, and then I fucking carve it. I'll leave that shot of rum there, that's their offering, but it's on the candle now as like a dressing. And then I use the same incense to carve in the candle. So I use an incense stick, dollar store shit, swear to God, dollar store shit. Use the yellow ones for Mercury Day or Sun. If I have an orange one, I'd use that for Mercury, and I'd use the yellow ones for the Sun Day. Red ones, Mars. Purple one, Jupiter, Moon. Blue, Jupiter, Moon, right? Venus is obviously green. Saturn, it's hard to find a black one, but they have white ones. White's the opposite of black, but it signifies air. You can use yellow as well for air. That one you gotta figure out, because they don't have those ones at my dollar store here in Canada. But that's all I use, and I use that to carve on the candle. I'm not using a pencil, I'm not using a knife, I'm using the fucking incense I'm burning, offering to them. You know, so the energy is coming out of my mind into my fucking hand through that incense, and I'm writing it. So that energy is in that incense stick, and I'm burning it. And that the incense helps bring spirits there, gods there, watchers there, you know, the elements there. It's part of, it's an element. It's the element of air, right? It's all there, right? And you're putting that right on the candle, the material. But then that material turns into liquid from the fire and the air burning it. The two positives turn the two negatives into nothingness. They consume each other. Same, you know what I mean? And then it's in the ether. It's gone. There's no, I gotta get rid of my wax after, whatever's left. Even the little incense stick that's left after, the little piece of wood, burn all that shit with the wax. Get rid of it. Do it once a week and just get rid of all the fucking wax I got, anything I can't fucking burn, or if the candle holder busted or broke or something like that, bury the fucking cocksucker, or I figured it out a way, I fucking melt it with my fucking torch, I smash it into little fucking pieces, I do whatever I gotta fucking do. I use the elements, and I got a whole process for that as well, but that's my process, and the point of this is you can use that process if you want, because I put a lot of energy into it, but do other people do it? No. So you're better off when you start doing magic, to get the proof that it works in your head, doing the other magics that people tell you are true, like sigil magic. You know, the reason you make a sigil and you masturbate, you're staring at it, as soon as you fucking come, it literally gets shot into your subconscious. It's the simplest magic you can do. That, or, you know, you burn yourself, but then you gotta deal with the burn for a while. It's a lot funner to fucking jizz than it is to fucking have a fucking burn welt on your finger or whatever. You know, depending on how sensitive you are, you might be able to get away with like staring at it. You got a fucking nose hair and a plucker, and you rip that out. That might do it, because it's like, ah. But I mean, you're gonna get rid of you want to get rid of the nose hairs anyways. So it's like, well, why don't you do some magic at the same time? So any kind of pain that might be beneficial, then that's a good way to do sigil magic. It's a good way to. But like everything else, you know, if you want something good to happen, that's your opinion of good, not good on this balance of scale or whatever. Like, okay, you might if you think deep down inside money is the root of all evil, then you might be better off using the pain way to get money, because it's the same polarity in your mind, meaning money's evil. I need money though. Well, if you jack off to try to get money, it may not work, because you might be using opposing forces. You're using great feeling emotion to something that's negative in your mind. But if you're going to use a negative emotion, fuck that hurt, pull out that fucking nose here, son of a bitch, you got like 5 of them in there, and man, that hurts. That's how, when I was running smokes, if I was falling asleep at the wheel, that's how I used to fucking make sure I stayed awake. I'd pull out nose hairs until I got to the fucking place where I was going. But depending on what you think, because a lot of people think money is evil. If you're one of those people that think there's a fucking elite out there who are fucking up the world and they're rich fucks and they don't deserve the money, then most likely you think money's bad. So if you're going to try to manifest money, that's not good. Yeah, if you want to judge these people for different actions that they're doing, but the fact that they became rich, I don't judge them on that. Not if you want money, not if you want to become rich. That's the worst thing you can do. But point is, try to use the same emotion with the same kind of thing. So if you're trying to banish something away, well, pulling out a fucking nose hair, looking at a sigil about banishing something might be good. Because what are you doing? Oh, you're banishing fucking nose hairs, and you're fucking crying, and you're fucking, you know, it's kind of a, that fucking hurts. It's kind of a negative emotion, like, oh, I don't want to do this again. I'm doing it again though. You know, that kind of shit might work better. But if you're trying to invoke something that makes you feel good, now I know you can say, well, it's like you're getting rid of your semen. You're kind of getting rid of something. It's like, I know, I get that. But at the same time, you're having a good time. And you're, you know, it's like, oh, shit. If this comes true, it's going to be awesome. And the reason it works is because it's called the little death. It's very hard to focus on that sigil when you're about to come unless you've done it for a long time. This is so bad to talk about. I hope kids don't watch me, but it is what it is. They need to learn it somewhere. But point is, it's hard to focus on the sigil at that point. And then as soon as you're done, you don't even care. You burn that shit right up, and it's easier to forget about, you know? Like, it's like guys who watch porn, and oh, that happens, and friends are all fucking foggy after, and they don't know how to, they don't get rid of their history, and they don't do things right, you know? Well, it's kind of like that. It kind of helps with that process. But there's other ways to, you know, charge in case you're against that or whatever the case is. But that's literally my personal method of doing magic. And the reason that method works is because I've done it so many times. Because the best way to understand your brain is, well, there's many ways to understand your brain, but the neocortex is your senses, okay? What happens through the senses affects the other layers of your brain. To simplify the brain, the best I can do is how I already said it. Neocortex, limbic system, reptilian brainstem. Reptilian brainstem is the bottom, it's the lowest, it's the oldest, right? People were different at one point, and that's all they had. Animals, that's all they had. They had smaller heads, right? Well, we grew massive heads, which made childbirth harder and harder to do. And that's where the limbic system grew. And then the neocortex grew. Okay, so now we have 3 layers of the fucking brain. But the neocortex is the filter. That's the male mind. Okay? And the rest of it is considered, let's say, the female mind. But your limbic system is where the deities live. Your emotions, all that shit, all the fucking pantheon of gods, goddesses, all that shit. That's where all that is, okay? It's all in the limbic system, but that's where your emotions are. Now, emotional stuff that happens, as far as I understand it, the primal urges to eat, to fuck, the more impulsive urges come from your reptilian brainstem. This is why that gets demonized. That's why it's associated with your conscious mind, which is bullshit. Associated with your ego, which is bullshit. But it's just like, there's other things. Your body needs this. So all the cells in your body are saying, you're fucking hungry, go eat. You're fucking thirsty, go drink. You're fucking tired, go to sleep. You're fucking horny, go fuck something. Or go masturbate. That's what that's your reptilian brainstem. The next part's the emotional part of the brain. Meaning, like, someone does something to you, it affects you. Your neocortex takes it all in. Conscious mind takes it all in. Senses, your eyes, your nose, your mouth, your ears. It takes it all in, right? Your taste, touch, whatever. It takes it all in. And then the limbic system's like, that fucking hurt. And then it sends a signal both ways, up and down. First down to your reptilian brainstem saying this person just fucking pissed us the fuck off, or made us fucking sad. And then it sends something back up saying, fuck this guy up, or run, get the fuck out of there. and then it goes to the neocortex and that, you know. But the limbic system, the reptilian, will make you start running before you even want to run. Different things like that. That's how the brain works, okay? So that's just a small little breakdown of like the senses and everything going on thereabouts with all that shit, okay? So how does magic work? Well, same fucking way. You're taking the shit in by your neocortex, okay? Your eyes, your smell, your touch, your ears, your taste. Most of the time by your eyes. But you're using your breathing at the same time. You might be using words at the same time. You might be listening to something at the same time. Tasting, that might be a little different, but you get what I'm trying to get at. That takes it in, right? So the next step is to get to the limbic system. Well, how do you do that? How do you do that without an emotional response? Because otherwise, if you don't get an emotional response, you don't really affect the limbic system. And you're most certainly not going to affect the reptilian brainstem. It's very hard to get down there. So how do we bypass shit like that? Well, that's where breathing techniques take you out of the conscious mind and bring you into the limbic and potentially down to the bottom level, okay? So you start doing breathing through your nose. You're doing it consciously. You're consciously breathing. But everybody knows you can think about breathing and doing breathing techniques and holding your breath. But as soon as you get out of that water, you start talking. They're like, oh, fuck, I did 50 seconds. Oh, man, that was so close to a minute. Blah, 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 blah. You're already not even thinking about breathing anymore. Well, the same thing happens when you start meditating. You start just focusing on your breath, focusing on your breath. Something happens. You start getting deeper down just through your breath alone. Well, why is breath? What is breath? Well, it's like called spiritus, and that's got all these esprit names in fucking French and Italian and Spanish. So it's linked to the spirit. It's one of the ways in. It's one of the messengers of the god. Back to today being Mercury Day. The messenger of the god is an air sign. He rules the lungs. There's two of them, which is Gemini, which he also rules, right? 2 hands, 2 lungs. You got 2 nostrils. That's how you get in touch with Mercury. That's how you get the message to the gods. That's how you get to the gods. You get to the limbic system that way. That's one way to get there. That's just to get meditating. But when you meditate, meditation to me has always been about receiving answers and not trying to visualize and do stuff. I know I said that earlier because you can. We have to kind of have that intention in mind so that you don't forget. Because with me, it's like I start dozing off, start having dreams, which is, who knows? I'm not asleep, but it feels like sleep. So I just call it sleep, but it could be just releasing DMT or whatever the case is in my mind by doing these meditations. And then once I come back to it, I start visualizing what I can. Because I've always been really good at making movies in my head as a kid. Which is now I know it's just visualizing shit. I can visualize whatever the fuck I want. Point is, I've been very good at that for a while. So I'm already in that state. It's no bueno. It's easy as fuck. I can do that. No fucking problem. So, I forgot why I got into that. Oh yeah. So the point of all this is the reason my method works. The reason I can get my just writing my statement. I am so grateful I got $1,000 recently. No, I got $1,000. I don't know. Whatever. Okay. I'm so grateful that money comes to me continuously and consistently every day. I will the Humphrey so money be. That's pretty blah, and I wouldn't even use that as but it's just an example. Okay. I wrote that right on the candle after using Jupiter and all the names of Jupiter. Krishna, the Mesopotamian name, Thor, Jesus, I'd even give him, Zeus, and any other ones that I know are associated with Jupiter. I put that all on the top of the candle, put my statement, and then on the bottom I'd put, I will do Humphrey someone to be. Why do I do it like that? Well, the top is like, this is who you're for. Fire, sees that, burns it off. Okay, it's for Jupiter. Okay, here's a statement of intent. Burns that slowly down. I blah 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 blah. It's just the process in my head. I think it works the best, and it slowly comes down. And at the very end, it's I will thee Humphrey someone to be. So normally that's the bottom of the candle that you need to burn at the end. That's why you gotta get rid of that at the end. Now you want to put that higher up. You want to put that first. You can, but it's supposed to be after, right? So, and then always sign it with your name and do whatever. But the reason this works is because I've been using the concepts. Okay, through repetition is how you get things into your subconscious mind. Everybody knows that. So while I was doing other magics and learning about other magics, I was always doing this method. But if I needed something to happen, like I said, I consecrated, cleansed, and charged a fucking book for my manifestation book, meaning everything I write in there is going to manifest. And I only go 6 months ahead most of the time to do that book. I got all these different methods of manifesting things. But at the same time, every night I would do a candle and I'd write this on it. And now it's the main thing I do. It's actually the only thing I've been doing lately. It's just as I need it, I would do that. You know, I still do a candle every night. I always have a white candle going too, which is really good to do. But point is, by the repetition, I put it in my mind that way. And then as soon as I got the results, it reinforced that it actually works. And then it started speeding up the process of it happening. Like it is a sigil. Like I'm doubling up my magic. Like it's crazy. And what I'm trying to say here, the whole point of this video, I guess, is that you can literally make your own magic process once you understand how magic, the brain, subconscious, astral realm, whatever you want to call it. Once you realize how it works, then you can do whatever the fuck you want. So like everybody knows well, not everybody knows, but the point is repetition puts things into your brain. It gets in your subconscious, right? Watching TV in that state, it puts things in your subconscious and you think it's real and blah, 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 blah. And then it's gone, whatever. Hearing something over and over again, like you're great, you're awesome, you're going to go somewhere, it's going to be put in your head. Or you're a piece of shit, you're going to amount to nothing, I wish I never had you. That's also going to make you go to therapy or whatever the case is. But these things over and over have an influence on you. They fuck you up. But that's how things get into your mind. How do you learn how to do anything? Well, you got to practice writing over and over again. You got to practice skating over and over again. You got to practice playing hockey over and over again. If you're starting a new job, you have a learning curve, right? It only comes in threes, 3 weeks, 3 months, depending on whatever. That's why most employers say after 3 months they can let you go for no reason. Because if you don't go by the 3 months, well, then you're fucked. Well, why is that? Well, they say it takes about, a month to learn a new skill. You know, consecutively. So they're giving you 3 of those options to fucking get it done, or 3 of those time frames to get it done. And if you don't get it by then, well, you probably won't ever get it. So that's why they reserve the right to fire your ass. So point is, by using by knowing this stuff, it's like, it was easy. I just have to keep doing this over and over and over again. And like I was going to say earlier, it's like 20 years is going to go by no matter what. 15 years is going to go by no matter what. It's like, even if you're not getting the results now, if you keep doing it, you will get the results later. And until you get those results, it's like you keep doing whatever. It doesn't have to be my method. Okay, I'm using my method as an example. So I write on candles, and now that works for me for performing magic. I'm able to write on a candle and be able to actually manifest something, right? That's been my ability. It's what I've honed. But point is, if you want a different way of doing it, who knows what you want to do? Maybe you want to write, because water magic, I was always told, supposed to be simple. Well, maybe you decide that's okay. I'm going to write on a whole water bottle with special charged ass consecrated water, and that's going to be my way. And you practice that for 3 fucking months, and then things start coming in. It's like, great, that's my point. You can make your own magic at this point. But until you get your own technique that you're comfortable with doing all the time, use the older techniques from the older books, from what the things I've said and other people have said, like using the tape recorder to get things put in your mind that you want to happen is one of the simplest things you can do. You record something 1 fucking time. Like, I mean, like, the more there, the better. The more angles you cover and the more different ways you can say it in your own voice, the better. But if you have some kind of, like, I am so grateful that I'm the best public speaker and I'm so fucking popular, I got so much fucking money, blah, 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 blah. You listen to that bitch every fucking night, well, something's bound to fucking happen. It has no choice. I did this. But I used that power to get my powers to increase. I said, I'm so grateful that my manifestation time is cut in half and is multiplied and blah, 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 blah. I made a way I used magic to make my magic even better and faster and easier for me. That was the first things I fucking did. Well, first things I did were money and different things, and they didn't work out right away. And asked for cars and houses, didn't work out right away. And then they finally came, like about a year later or 6 months later. Like, whoa, this shit does work. And that was in a book, me just writing in a book, and it worked. So then I was like, okay, there's something to this. And then it started getting deeper and deeper and deeper. And then, whoa, that's too deep. That's too much demon stuff, and maybe potentially. And then, okay, deeper, deeper, deeper. Whoa, deeper, deeper, deeper. And then now that stuff's like, okay, I know what this shit is. It's not even that. But point is, you can make magic whatever the fuck you want it to be. You can have it. You just gotta follow the simple rules and guidelines. And the rules are, you gotta make an impression on the subconscious mind. You gotta get something in the astral plane. Those are both the same fucking thing to me. But let me explain them individually. Getting something in your subconscious mind is what I just said. Playing a recorder over and over and over again so you don't have to say an affirmation 1,000 times. Best thing you can do if you want to do the affirmation route. Or you put the sigil on something, stare at it, you see, visualize what the sigil says, what you want, and then boom, no bueno, it's done. It's in there. And then you just gotta wait for it to happen. You gotta burn that physical representation up off this ground. What does that do? Well, there's an astral realm. The astral realm is your fucking brain. It's your mind. It's in your mind. It's the realms you can't access. Yes, we can go to space, and that's the, most people think space is the astral and all that shit. But the astral realm is the parts of your brain that you can't access with your conscious mind. Okay? That's where it is. And it's ruled by something else. But you have the ability to input stuff in there. Your conscious mind is supposed to be the filter for what goes in and what doesn't go in. But that thing's so fucked up that it's just letting everything in. Most people don't know it. But there's a reason that thing's there for it, and it's not a bad thing, it's a good thing. But the astral realm has what's going to happen to you next in it, let's say. Okay? It's all the stuff that's been programmed in you when you were a kid, from your parents, from you, from whatever. It's all there. Okay? So if you want to add something to that, you make a fucking sigil of something saying that you're so grateful you received $3,000 recently. Harm free someone to be, blah, 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 all the same shit I've been saying all along. Okay? The reason you got to burn that thing is because you got to focus on that sigil. Like I said earlier, you got to see it happening. This is what we call you putting energy into it. Charging it. This is charging it. You're putting energy into it. When you charge your battery, what are you doing? Well, you're replenishing the energy. You're getting more energy to it, right? Electricity, whatever. This is what you're doing. When you stare at that sigil and you visualize it happening, you're fucking charging it. Okay? That's what you're doing. So when I make my candles and I write with that incense, I'm charging it because I'm making this thing up as I fucking go. But it's what I really want. It's coming from the heart. It's supercharged. Anyways, so when you do that, when you stare at that sigil and you see it happening, you're putting that energy in the astral. You're creating that potential in the astral. Okay? But when you have that sigil still here on this earth, same with your statement of intent, if they're both still here on this plane, then technically you already have it. So right now, it's a suggestion up there saying, I'm so grateful I have $3,000. Well, you have that down here. So it matches. Up there, you put enough energy, it's up there. But then down here, you have the thing saying that you have that, right? And you're putting emotion into it that you believe it and all that. So unless you get rid of that fucking thing, you're never going to get what you asked for. So you burn that. And now you have it in the astral, but you don't have it down here. So it will come down here. It's the same thing with your subconscious mind. It's the same fucking thing. When you put something in your subconscious mind, through repetition, through affirmations, through whatever means you want to do, as soon as you get it in there, if you get rid of the representation down here, okay, it will eventually manifest down here. It has no choice. It's a fucking bloody law. So that's the reason I just put my whole thing on the candle, because there's less burning, there's less different steps and all that. Maybe it's a lazy man's way of doing it, but I've been doing it for so fucking long. Picking a candle every night with the 4 kids and everything going on in sports and extracurricular, different jobs and fixing this and doing that. It's like, it's just too much. But that's not why I did it. It just made sense to me. It was just one day I just like, what if I just write it on the candle? And I did. And then it started working. I mean, it was probably close to a year later, but it started working. So it was like, fuck it. This is awesome. I'm not going to fucking change this. Great. So, that's where we're at now. So that's literally my actual process to manifesting things or banishing things. They're both the same. That's performing magic. Whether you banish or manifest, I'm so grateful that I've banished every circumstance that's stopping me from becoming rich. I will the harm free someone to be. And that's a candle you make on a black candle, the Saturn on a Saturday. Put all the Saturn symbols on the top. I offer this candle to Saturn, Anshar, Satan, Kronos, any fucking name you think is associated with Saturn, you put it there. I always put Satan. I don't believe in Satan. I don't fucking worship Satan. But I know a lot of people think Saturn is Satan. So I want that energy too. I want that put in my candle. I'm banishing shit. So if it's bad energy from people who think Satan's bad, well, I'm trying to banish something, so technically I'm getting rid of something. So you want to get rid of the bad stuff, right? So it works. It fucking works. So fuck it. Whatever. Do what works, man. Fuck the rest. And then, the following week, you give it some time, the next Thursday, I'm so grateful that I've received blah, blah, blah. And on Friday, I'm so grateful that I've increased. Oh, no. Friday you could receive it, and then Thursday you could increase it and expand it. That's probably the best way to do it. So the next Friday you would ask for the money, and then the following Thursday ask for it to be expanded. And then boom, one day you're gonna get a bunch of opportunities, and the next day you're gonna get a bunch of money, and the next time the money's gonna fucking expand, and you'll see. But you just gotta start doing it every fucking day, like it's a ritual. So we call it rituals. We're doing rituals. I'm doing rituals every day. You'll get to the point where you can literally just do it in your head, and it will manifest. Now, I don't have crazy success with this every day, but if I take the time to do rituals in my head, I can have them manifest within 3 days sometimes, depending on the severity and how, intense it is. But I'm telling you, everybody can do this. Everybody can do this. We all have the ability. It's just about, who's got the discipline. Anyways, that's enough for today. That's me explaining all my shit, how I do my specific fucking magic. Hope you enjoyed it. Finally made a video about some magic. And maybe in my next video, I'll actually show you some shit, how exactly I do it on the candle and all that, in case anybody wants to know. Maybe it'll just be the starting point of my next video, so in case you were worried. But honestly, take the advice I said, rewind it, and if you don't really understand, you need a visual, just do it whatever way you think I meant it. And this way it'll be personal to you. You can flip it around. You could do the opposite of what I said. It doesn't matter. Do what you think is best. And this way it'll be personal to you. And if it's personal to you, then you will get the best results. Anyways, thank you for watching. Have a great fucking day. Alright, I've played these videos before, but I'm going to play them again just because they're useful. Just so you get another opinion. So here's a couple videos from Bert that I played before. And yeah, hope you enjoy and have a great fucking day.
What, no countdown? Okay, I guess there's no countdown on this camera. Hi kids. Your dear Uncle Birch here. Another fabulous video. And as you can see, less lag. I think there's still a little lag. We'll have to see how it turns out. Looks like an old acid trip I once had right there. But I'm using... actually, the first computer that I ever made videos on. I'm looking over here on the side, and I can see my first few videos, man. There I was sitting around my house, smoking a cigarette and stuff. Come a long way. Come full circle. All the way back to the computer that I first used, because it's a better computer. I usually am using my netbook, because it's more portable, but that's not why we're here, to talk about computers. I'm here to make another video in hopes that I won't have to repeat myself as much. There's a lot of questions that I'm often asked in my line of work, and I'm often asked the same question a lot of times. And that was the original reason for making the videos. Is so once we talk somebody through a spell, teach them what they need to do when they're here at the shop, and when they go home and forget everything that we told them, or they lose their notes, they can watch the video. We can just, they'll call up and say, hey, I forgot what to do. And they go, oh, watch Basic Love Spells Part 1. That's what you do. That kind of thing. So, something I'm often asked in my line of work, how does it work? How does magic work? And almost as many times, how long does it take? That's always a big concern for people. People that need to change something in their lives, and they're using magic to do it, and they're in a hurry. They have no other recourse to get that thing other than to do a spell, but they're in a hurry. They want to know how long it's going to take, and I tend to say the same thing that I was taught, and I found that it's true. First of all, your average spell works in moon cycles. One moon cycle is optimal. One moon passing and your spell manifests. That's optimal. More often, since it's the moon, she likes to work in threes. So 3 months for your average spell, you should see some sort of manifestation for that. And if you watch my videos, and I suggest you, I know there's hundreds of them now, there's well over 100, you should watch some of the other videos where I explain this stuff, like the 3 keys of magic. And the 3rd key of magic, the most important thing, is letting go of the spell, projecting it, letting it go, optimally forgetting about it. And the way that we achieve that in the video is we set that 3 moon margin We close our book. We keep good notes of everything we did. We close our book with the plan that we're not going to look at that spell again for 3 moons. The spell may not have manifested in that 3 moons, but we've got to give ourselves some sort of time to go back and look at that, because quite often spells sneak up on you in their manifestation, especially if you're good at your 3rd key. You've forgotten you did it, and lo and behold, all of a sudden, you're living under those circumstances that you wanted to have. You've manifested that thing, and you don't even know it. You've been spending weeks with the money that you needed, or you fell in love, you met somebody, and you think about it, and then you just kind of think about it, months later or something. Go, oh, hey, wow, this person's just like the person I asked for in the love spell. Wow, look at that, it worked. And that's off the ball when magic sneaks up on you. And that's the 3rd key. There is a secret 4th key. And I don't know if I've ever mentioned it in videos, but I found it myself, and I've never been taught this by anybody else. It's something that I found. Some spells I found did not manifest until I declared that they didn't manifest. In other words, until I admitted failure to the universe, some spells didn't manifest. And so I'm going to call that the secret 4th key. And I don't know how to really gauge that, but sometimes it's best to give up. Somehow the giving up is facilitating the 3rd key, that of letting go. You've totally let go when you've given up and said it didn't work. Now that's a problem for some people, because there seems to be a common belief out there in the world that magic only works if you believe it. Now, belief is great, belief is good, but I just shot a hole in that theory with the 4th key. That cannot be true if, in fact, declaring that it didn't work brings a manifestation. And I wouldn't say this unless the manifestations had been drastic and impossible to deny. Damn, too bad I don't have a pause button on this thing. Be right back. Okay. Where was it? Oh, yeah. So, that old wives' tale, if we can blame it on old wives, that magic won't work, and this is pretty much how it's told, that magic won't work on you if you don't believe in it. And this is pretty common in, some people say that in hoodoo, voodoo, folk magic. They say that, and I'm here to tell you, I've been a witch for too long, it's bullshit. If you're one of those people, and if you say that, oh, your magic won't work on me because I don't believe in it, we have a word for you. Target. You are a target and a victim, and you will, hopefully not, but you quite likely will be victimized and not know it. And you'll if you get a hex put on you, you'll never just go take the simple steps necessary to remove the hex. It's not hard to remove a hex, but you've got to remove the hex. You've got to do the work. You've got to burn some stuff, wave your arms around. But if you don't believe in it, well, you're just going to sit there. Your life's going to, fall apart. You're going to have really bad luck, lose jobs, become sick, insane, and ultimately die. I'm laughing because I have a dark sense of humor, I guess. So don't ever buy that. Just because if you don't believe in the truck coming at you, doesn't mean it's not going to squash you all over the pavement. Your disbelief is futile. It's nothing. It means nothing to the universe. The universe is what it is, and whether you believe it or not, it's still going to be what it's going to be. However, believing in something can be very powerful, can be very strong. You can accomplish great things. You can believe in something and project your mind out into the universe to cause change in accordance with will. So that's something about how magic works. Still not answering the question quite right. Sasha just threw his bottle. So magic tends to work in moon cycles, and it tends to manifest mundanely. That's something some people don't think about. They get involved in all this witchcraft and all this woogie stuff, and they they're expecting beams of light to deliver $30,000 onto their living room table. Now, I'm not saying you couldn't make that happen, but it'd probably take 30 years of constant spell work to get that, to get a manifestation like that. More likely, what's going to happen, the check's going to arrive in the mail. You're going to make a left turn walking down the street when you normally would make a right turn. For some unknown reason, your subconscious decided to make you turn left, and well, look, there's a pile of money laying in the street. This is how it happens. Now, it means that somebody had to go drop that money. That's a problem for that person. But, hopefully you did your spell wishing harm to no one, not wishing harm to anyone. Gotta be a more positive way of saying that. Magic manifests mundanely most times. And it manifests with irony. I don't know who said it, but it's the one constant in the universe. Irony. If you worked with a particular deity, a goddess or a god, you should expect that spell to arrive with the fingerprint, the thumbprint, or the signature of that deity, i.e., somebody that reminds you of that deity, somebody that looks like that deity, is going to show up. And I got a story. I always teach better with stories. So,
Phil here with an interesting rant. I'm sure it's going to be. I'm not sure where this will go, but that hasn't stopped me so far. It occurs to me that some of you don't know me. I originally started this thing as a local project and became kind of bigger. My name is Birch Tree, and among other things, I am the Grand Poobah of the Circle A system of magic. I like Grand Poobah because it's funny. And that's the thing, when you create your own system, you can call yourself whatever the fuck you want. And it's never found me a system out there that worked for me all the way. Elements of many systems, sure. But one of the prime components in my system is personal responsibility. Circle A system of magic's prime directive. Take personal responsibility for your life. You take personal responsibility and control for your life, or somebody will control your life. And then we go into this other thing. And when we were first starting out in our town, somebody challenged me, and actually it was more of an attack, accused me of mind control. I thought that was really fascinating because although the word was true, what this person was trying to say was that I was trying to control people's minds, and apparently she was unfamiliar with my system. My system was trying to teach people to control their own minds, because their minds are already controlled. And quite frankly, it would bore me to control people's minds because it's far too easy. People have been programmed to be receptacles of programming. In this stage of the game, at least here in America, we say, you can be programmed in 30-second sound bites, and you've been programmed your whole life to be that way. And then it's going to be pretty hard to unprogram you. So, golden rule: control your mind, or it will be controlled, and it will be controlled by forces bent on your demise. Do you feel inadequate, unworthy, less than, social issues, feel like, people don't like you, or people are better than you? Well, this is because that's your program. And part of that program may lie in your parents, childhood baggage, those kind of things, but a large portion of that lies in society. You've been programmed by the TV to feel inadequate, so you can be sold products to make you feel adequate. You can be sold drugs, self-help programs, clothes, weight loss systems, on and on and on and on. This box you watch is bent on your demise, is bent on having you broke and miserable and wanting more, wanting more things that you did not need before. My system addresses that, teaches people how to reprogram themselves. Now, this guy sitting right here talking, I guess, to the world on this box was a scared little kid. Scared little adolescent kid. Had all probably of the social baggage that there is when I was a kid. It was a spooky little witch. Which, made more people act weird towards me, be scared of me, that kind of thing. So more reasons for the baggage as time went on. Don't be Facebooking messaging me while I'm on YouTube. God, people. But I found myself in positions early in life where I needed to be a public speaker, and I needed to learn how to communicate with people and get over stage fright and all that kind of stuff. And what I learned early on, I learned some things about subliminal programming. And with very limited technology, cassette tapes and timers, about the only technology available to me, I reprogrammed myself. As soon as I learned how it was done and the basics of it, it made a lot of sense to me, and I reprogrammed myself. And maybe that's something to look at here. There could be some backlash. Now, I reprogrammed myself to be a public speaker, and I gotta say, it worked so well. That's all I do. I've had an entire life now of radio, stage, music. Been teaching since I was 13, groups of people. I'm constantly doing rituals in front of people. And now here I am on YouTube, at work, when I probably should be doing other things, talking to more people. That's because I programmed myself. Now, I've already gone to 5 minutes just in the intro to this, so I want to give at least a technique. You can go find out if my ideas are true and if you actually have been programmed to your demise. But the thing is, for witches, we're tapping that part of our mind. The mind is very linked to the spirit. Maybe the spirit exists in the mind. Who knows? But they're very linked. You control the mind, you control the spirit. If you evolve in the mind, your spirit evolves. And a little technique that I learned early on involves Sigil Magic. Now, if you go and look at my other videos on Sigil Magic, statements of intent, and the 3 keys, I think you'll have enough to do something really effective here, and I'll be able to tell you how to do it in under 10 minutes, I think. I'm at 6:23 right now. So, now, assuming that you've watched the video on Sigil Magic and learned how to sigilize your intent, sleep Sigil Magic. You can't even see that, can you? There we go. This is a sigil I made to program some things into myself that I want to have. It could be, I want to remember people's names. I want to make more money. I want to be more successful. I want to not be scared in crowds. I want to, I wanted to learn how to pick up on chicks. I don't know. Whatever you want to be, sigilize your intent. Make it into words, and then make the words into a symbol, and then make this symbol the last thing you see before you go to sleep. It can be that simple. You want to take it another step. There's 2 main hardcore ways of imprinting a suggestion to your subconscious. Pain or pleasure. Extreme pain or extreme pleasure. So if you want to masturbate while looking at the sigil before you go to sleep, or if you want to take a big lighter to your hand, don't try that at home, and don't say that I suggested that you burn your hand. I'm not responsible. You're responsible. You decide. Are you a masochist, a sadist, or a hedonist? You want pleasure or you want pain? Make your symbol, spend your time on the symbol, and imprint your symbol onto your subconscious, and you'd be amazed what you are motivated to do in the world. Even larger things that we would call magic all involve your mind and you accidentally going left when you would have gone right one day, saying yes when you would have said no. All these little events in your life can be affected by you in the moment. That moment, making the right decision, making the right change. So whether you want to just call it psychology, whether you want to call it magic, or whether you want to see how the two are linked, I think it's an effective method. And I think there's enough in my videos. If you just look at the statement of intent video, the Sigil Magic videos, and the 3 keys video, you've got enough to just make yourself another person. If you want to be another person, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with you, but you might. Or maybe there's something you'd like to have more right. This is Mind Control 101 with your Uncle Birch. Thank you for listening. It's 9:13, the end of the day. Merry meet, merry part, and I'm sure I'll have more to say on this subject.